Welcome to Owl Week 2025.
All right.
We're going to talk about finding a Saw-Whet owl a couple weeks ago, and we can't fully take credit for it because a bunch of chickadees and titmice just started going bonkers in the top of a pine stand. I'm going to start the track and let Josh tell the story.
Yeah, Matt kind of said it. We were walking through Chickadee Pines as we've done dozens of times previously. We've come across barred owls on numerous occasions, but we stumbled across some chickadees and titmice just absolutely going nuts at the top of a pine tree. At first, we weren't suspecting anything, and then as more came and arrived, we noticed Saw-Whet owl. This little guy.
And you actually heard the moment of truth there where Josh spotted this. Tell us about what you saw that actually made this stand out to you, Josh, when you actually picked it out from the top of this pine amongst 15 other pines.
Yeah. Well, it took a minute, right? So we saw this. There was some commotion going on up there, and there wasn't a whole lot of space. So we knew, or I was thinking it could be a Saw-Whet. It could be smaller. So just kind of looking for that shape, and they're not much bigger than a pop can. So just kind of saw that little ball, that little sphere silhouetted, and then I saw that white marking, between the eyes, and that was my first visual on a Saw-Whet. So that was super super exciting for me.
Yeah, I've always found
But
that
yeah,
with looking at birds, if you can figure out where the white is, that can help you identify a lot of things. We'll talk about ducks probably later on this spring, but the white of this guy's like eyelashes, I guess, for the lack of eyebrows, for the lack of a better term, kind of stood out. And when I'm looking for owls, a lot of times I'm just looking for a dark silhouette, kind of skylighted. Sometimes I'm moving around, trying to get the sun behind me so I can just kind of use the sun to kind of spotlight kind of some of the different thickets of pines. Crossley, in his book, talks about how Saw-Whets like perches that they can fly up to at night. And so that does give you hope if you're hoping to just kind of walk through a pine stand and look up the skirts of a whole lot of pine trees. It may just be there looking down at you.
yeah, and you just have to have to be able to see them. Hopefully, with the assistance of some other birds like we had. But luckily, the titmice and chickadees, after a few minutes of us standing there, took off and left him alone. So he just kind of got to take his little nap, getting covered with snow.
Apparently they were passing the baton to us saying, "You chased this giant monster off." And we're like, "Giant monster? No, that's the cutest thing we've ever seen." While they've lost their ever-loving minds going around a corner, come face to face with this thing, they'll just straight up eat them.
Just a deadly little guy.
Well, at least to the mice.
But how often do these guys show up in Berrien County?
They're probably here every winter. How often do I see one? Probably about as often as Tim finds one. That's how often I see one. But they're probably here every year. I go back and forth between whether it's easier to try to find them with a tape and then it's just in the middle of the night and you have no hope of actually seeing it, or aimlessly walking these pine stands and pretty much no matter what you do, you come to realize that the other way is probably better. But on this day at least, despite the fact that we both fell hard on a couple of places where you can see the horizontal snow and wind that's falling. I mean, this bird actually has snow on his head. It had snowed over a couple of frozen puddles at Chickaming they were just invisible, and we both biffed hard on the ice
Definitely.
at different points. But
I'm still recovering, but it
hey,
was
there goes a Saw-Whet owl. We'll take
totally
it.
worth it. Totally worth it.
I mean, these guys, some of the interesting things they'll do is they'll sometimes sleep over the course of the day. And here I've got it frozen with its eyes open initially, but he fell back asleep pretty quickly. They'll actually sleep with the last mouse that they catch still in their talons. So when they wake up, let's get that mouse breath on.
Ooh, yeah. And we don't even know. It could be we couldn't see this guy's talon, so he may be doing that very thing right now. He may have a little mouse with him. We don't know.
Yeah, he's tucked in there pretty deep. We were speculating in the field that this could be a young one because it looked kind of pretty pale and a little bit more kind of warm in the face than some of them will have. I don't actually know how to age these. It's possible this is a first year bird, and hopefully he or she is finding what they need.
Absolutely.
Well, this is Owl Week 2025. We hope to bring you more owls over the course of this week. Until then, let's go.
All right, let's go birding.